Hello and welcome to today's video. Today's a special one. I've been given a pre-release sample here of a new pen by Ensso. This pen is currently a Kickstarter campaign. And so this is kind of like a first impressions video. The full review will come in a little while. I really just wanted to show it now so that you can get on the Kickstarter campaign if it's a pen you're interested in. The pen is this, so it comes in this little plastic bag. It is the Bolt. This is a bolt action retractable fountain pen from Ensso. Ensso is a USA based company and Carlo over there has a real interest in doing sort of like interesting pens with interesting materials and things like that. And this is a grade 5 titanium, as I said, retractable bolt action fountain pen. So what that means is here is the bolt mechanism. Now, there are a lot of ballpoint pens that have this bolt action mechanism where you push that crown down and it clicks in, and then the end of the pen is, pushed out the end, making it capless, retractable, and, very, very convenient. Now, every retractable pen on the market has a slightly different way of dealing with some issues. Firstly, there's the mechanism of actually getting it to retract. And the bolt action mechanism is one of the simplest and one of the cleanest. And I absolutely love the bolt action ballpoint pens that I've been using. And this bolt action fountain pen looks very, very cool. I'm yet to ink it up, so you're going to see it in action for the first time with me here, because I'm going to show how it all works. Now, obviously the other issue with a retractable fountain pen without a cap is the fact that it has to seal up, otherwise it will dry. And Ensso have come up with a really interesting way of doing that. Now, you won't be able to see it in this video, but there is a little silicone I don't even know how to explain it, a series of flaps. It's like a silicone sheet with an X cut into it that the nib protrudes out through. And then when it goes back in, those flaps will fold back in and keep it airtight, which is absolutely brilliant. Genius. So simple. This entire mechanism for a retractable fountain pen is probably the simplest I've looked at. I've looked at a number of retractable pens. The Dialogue 3 from Lamy, super complex. The Pilot Vanishing Point and its various sort of like knockoffs from Moonman and things like that. All perfectly fine, but once again, complex. Platinum Curidas. The retractable pen from Endless, all using their own methods and everything. Those horrible ones from China that had no protection for the nib other than a cap, making the retractable nature redundant. So this one is clever. Now, how does it work? Okay, so you unscrew the end there and you get the mechanism of the pen, which is a very simple spring, and then the converter and the pen and the nib. Now, this nib is similar to that comes on a range of other retractable and smaller fountain pens, and they generally write quite nicely. And then in the nose cone here, we get, I still might not be able to see it, but there is that silicone sleeve under another ring here. And the silicons you'll be able to buy that as a replacement part as well if this wears out. But Ensso have done like a year of testing on it and have had no issues. So it's tried and simple and clean, and I really, really love it. So I'm going to fill this pen now, and we're going to do a quick write with it, and then I'm going to talk about some like dimensions and how you can get your hands on one of these. So today I'm going to ink this with Cradle Mountain from Van Diemen's ink. Beautiful, beautiful ink. So as with any other fountain pen, you dip the nib in and use the piston as you would. Okay, clean that off. Now, one thing to do with this pen is to orientate the nib when you put it back in so that it orientates the way you want it to when the nib comes out. So I put it so that it lines up roughly there with the bolt. And then screw that nose cone back down on. And then when I push it out, it's lined up there roughly with the bolt, which is great. Okay, so let's do a quick write with it. So what we have here is the Ensso Bolt. This will come with a fine and or a medium nib, which you choose after you've backed the Kickstarter. I'm not exactly sure what this one is. I'm going to say this is maybe the fine, but it's writing quite nicely. As I said, it's Cradle Mountain. From Van Demons Inc. Okay, so yes, it's writing quite well. And this is first ink of it, first everything. Beautiful. No complaints there whatsoever. Obviously, for the full review, I will use this pen for a longer period of time, and I'll be able to, talk about things like ink starvation. But out of the box, this has written very, very nicely. I'm quite happy with this. So let's talk about some dimensions and all that kind of stuff now. Okay, so the pen weighs 23 grams, and as there's no cap, that is the weight. I personally, when I heard it was titanium, so it's a full metal pen, I expected it to be heavier, but it is nice and light, and it's very comfortable in the hand. There's a nice sort of texture to the titanium. It's not super polished, so it's not slick. It's very comfortable, and I don't feel my fingers moving around on it. It's great. It's about 131 millimeters when it's retracted, and 139 when the nib is out. Now, one thing I have read and seen on other reviews is that putting the nib through that silicone little slot on the front there, you do get a bit of ink on the nib, so that's just something to keep in mind that will happen. Obviously, the pen doesn't post because there's no cap, so there's none of that measurement, and around the barrel is about 9.6 millimeters, so it's super comfortable. I'm really enjoying that, and it looks like it's kind of dismantleable as well. You could unscrew the back there, take out the bolt if you needed to. I did notice before that I can unscrew the crown of the bolt, so yeah, take it apart, maintain it, all of that kind of thing. But it is a super simple method of having this retractable nature. Just to put it into context, here it is alongside what is probably the best known retractable fountain pen, the Pilot Vanishing Point. You can see it's a little bit shorter, but a lot of the length here on the Vanishing Point is the knock. And of course, being a bolt action, there's no knock. And then with the nibs out, they actually come in at a pretty similar length. This is a very comfortable pen. I'm very impressed with the Ensso Bolt. So before I talk about pros and cons for this pen, what I want to quickly do is talk about how you can get it. And the reason I'm making this video today is sort of like a first impressions video, as I said, is because this at the moment is part of a Kickstarter campaign. Now, Ensso have a great track record of producing Kickstarter campaigns and delivering on their campaigns, which is absolutely wonderful. And I will put a link directly to that Kickstarter campaign, as well as to the Ensso website, but particularly to that Kickstarter in the comments of this video. Now, the pen will be hopefully shipped out May to June, and my full review will probably be in June for this pen. The price point on the Kickstarter, and I'm not exactly sure what it's going to be beyond the Kickstarter, but if you can get onto it now with the Kickstarter, the price is for a single one of these bolt pens is about $84, which is about 130 Australian, 84 US, which is a really, really great price point, like awesome price point. It's a well-made pen. It seems to write well, all of that kind of stuff. As I said, you'll be able to choose between a fine, medium nib at the end of the campaign, which, so gives you the options for that. I think this is a really great deal. And if you're interested in interesting fountain pens and like retractable fountain pens, or you're a fan of bolt action ballpoint pens, this might be something to look at. So what are the reasons that I think this is a good pen? Firstly, there's no clip in the way. One of the reasons I don't always love the Pilot Vanishing Point is that clip down the front there. Now, you don't get that with this pen. Should this pen have a clip? I don't know. I'm not exactly sure how to store this pen, in a pocket, but it's a very simple, clean pen, no clip. It's got a standard international converter. Now, obviously, given the style of mechanism it is, you won't be able to use short cartridges, maybe be able to use long cartridges, but a standard converter that, like the one that is provided, works within this pen. There's also no knock on the end, which I like, as that I do like the bolt action style of pen anyway. You can also orientate the nib. So you can turn the nib, even once it's in there, just grab a tissue and, turn the nib around to orientate it how you want. So if you want the bolt down or the bolt up, or to line up with that part of the bolt or that part of the bolt, easy to do. Very, very simple. I think the bolt action is great. It's a unique system. It's fun. It's got a great build quality, awesome material, nice clean weight in the hand, lots to like. So head over to the Kickstarter campaign, jump on board with this pen. I think it's great. I will do a full review of this with a few more pros and cons and all that kind of stuff after a bit more use, as I said, closer to the launch of the pen. But I just wanted to get this out to coincide with the Kickstarter campaign so that if you wanted to make use of that great deal of the Kickstarter, you very easily can. So this is the Ensso Bolt Retractable Fountain Pen. Thank you for watching. I hope you found it interesting and useful. Please like and subscribe, hit the notifications button, all that kind of stuff. If you've got a product you think I should be looking at, or if there's a way you would like to support my channel, I would love to hear from you. A big thank you to Carlo at Ensso for sending this out for me to look at and for allowing me to share it with you, my viewers. His support has been awesome, and I really like the Ensso brand and the Ensso pens I've been using. So big thank you there. In the meantime, head over to the Kickstarter. Enjoy your pens, enjoy writing, and I'll talk to you soon.